Okay, so a few things. I wanted to follow up because over lunch I took a look at some of this stuff, um, and I wanted to change a few things. And I started making changes, and they were pretty substantial. So I'm thinking that my thinking was that I wanted to get this on at least. I wanted to get it recorded for the stream, at least a majority of this, so it's documented, because I don't want to just make a lot of changes off stream and then come back and be like, oh yeah, by the way. So, quick note. Let's see. So, Jawa is he got our pull requests, and he made a much better update, I think. In my opinion, he did than what I had done with my pull request. Really, I just added that parsing. He basically came back and said, "Look, I looked back at this, and for whatever reason, I was parsing the GLSL, and I don't really like that, and so I'm just gonna get rid of that and just basically pull the names from OpenGL, and that is way better." So, so instead of parsing any of that stuff, he just pulls the names directly. Now, that does mean a few things. It didn't compile out of box exactly the way that the pull request did. In fact, the reason why is, so I got two errors immediately. One on the first one was just specular, and I just removed it. I just commented it out because we weren't really using specular, and there's a reason why it errored. The other was the texture, and in our example, we weren't actually using the textures. So what ends up happening is that GLSL only makes available if you use it, if you use the data. So because we weren't using specular, just because it's here doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be available. It will be available if we use it. And by the way, this does not count as using it because this is never getting used. So this has a dependency on this, but you can't trick it. Basically, it's getting optimized out. The optimizer is figuring out, hey, you don't use this, so it doesn't even get included because it wouldn't matter. And that's actually a pretty nice little optimization. So it was throwing an error because it couldn't find light.specular, but the reason why it couldn't find it is because it got optimized out, because it was never used. Same thing for texture. So it's pretty clear, I guess, based on that I pulled down the latest stuff from him. I think I should probably also. He also asked about the stream and the videos, and I kind of I gave him a list to or a link to the YouTube, and just basically told him not to expect much because I had been pretty much stumbling over my own feet the past few days. Anyway, so it looks like he removed this Lexer completely, and all the parsing stuff, and instead he just basically uses gl.getActiveAttrib and pulls it from there, and active uniform, and he pulls it basically from the programs themselves. It's pretty awesome. It looks a little bit more complicated than I would have assumed, but program interface. And then okay, cool, very cool actually, because active attribute type, he's already getting these from the binding generation. Cool. And then he removed it from the project. So that's all he really changed, but that's good. I mean, we got that update. I pulled it down, I built, and then merged it in with our project, or added the DLs to our project. So some other changes I really wanted to make was I wanted to make our axes for our little debug axes, I wanted to make them a bit more clear. And so I basically wanted each axis to have its own color, and not very difficult to kind of go through what I did. I basically just added a little container class here called color renderable, and it just contains a renderable and a color. And then so when I return this, instead of just returning 3 renderables here, I'm creating these new color renderables, and I'm assigning a render and a color and returning that. And then when I go to render these things right here, I'm basically just pulling the renderable out, and I'm setting the color value on the shader. And so now the result is this. Basically, you get a it's just basically x. Your x is your red axis, z is blue, and y is green. And I updated the sizes a little bit to be a little bit nicer. Anyway, I don't. I think besides mouse movement, I don't know how much these debug axes are going to actually come into come in handy, but for right now, it's not bad. The other thing that I did was trimmed a lot of this down. And so while I was trimming this down, I was like, well, that doesn't look like it does much. Like, let's document pretty much what this thing does. And so our relative mouse movement is going to basically return any sort of position deltas, essentially. If we move it to the left, it's going to be negative x, and if we move it up, it's going to be negative y. If we move it down, it's going to be positive y. Move it right, it's going to be positive x. And it's going to come in like, plus 1x plus 3y minus 2y minus 1x, whatever. It's very simple updates. And so here's basically what we do is we just store an aggregate. What's up, Colt? We just store an aggregate here. And I have this little speed reduction just to reduce the terms a little bit. Thanks, man. Everything's working right now. Thank goodness. So basically, well, I'm just kind of going through what all this is doing. Well, no, things have been a struggle from about day 9 to here in terms of fixing the rotational stuff. I'm still not convinced that I'm doing any of that stuff correctly. However, at this point, it doesn't really matter. Because we're not going to really be using rotation on our voxels. Like everything's symmetric and has regular normals. Like we're not going to be using any of that stuff on our actual voxels. We may, but if we end up using something like that, we will address it at that time. So anyway, basically, we just keep an aggregate. So basically, as our delta updates come flying in on this listener, we're going to aggregate the totals, or we'll just aggregate the x and y values. And we'll just put a note here that we hard constraint on y axis. And the reason why we put the hard constraint on the y, the positive y, is because when you're going down, we use a mod to pull all the points back onto the window. And what ends up happening is if we mod like 800 and our height is 700, it's going to put it back at 100. So it's going to reset it near, like, we want that for X. We want the X to do the reset. We don't want the Y, because we want the Y to actually just stay at him. So we just put a hard constraint there. And this is where we map, or we map, or not map, we pull any out of bounds coordinates back into window coordinates. And this is where it gets a little bit tricky. What's up? How's it going? So I'm going through, so I run the stream normally in the mornings, and I've been running into some mathematical brain busters lately, and I just was able over lunch to get it fixed, and so I'm kind of going through some of the changes I made and adding in some documentation. But the overall project is a voxel engine, and we're pretty early in development, and we're moving pretty slow. After today, we're going to kind of be beyond the basic rendering pipeline techniques, and we're going to start talking about actual voxels and stuff like that. Well, sometimes. I mean, a lot of this stuff is difficult, but you can work through it fairly without a whole lot of like overall issues. The bigger problems normally come in the beginning when you're like trying to synchronize all the linear algebra and make sure all your rotations and transforms all work correctly, and that's kind of what I've been doing, and it's hopefully we're past it. So after this, it'll be a little bit more interesting and fun. I started when I was a kid in like basic and Visual Basic, and then this is like Windows 3.1 days, and then just stuck with it. Books before the internet, books, and then after the internet, the internet. I've just been doing it a long time, and then I studied it in college as well. So I like had like an unofficial education, and then I had like the unofficial education, and it kind of all started to interweave itself. And I've been doing it professionally for about 11 years, 10 years. Use percentage of screen map to negative 360, 360. Map to window ratio is really what it is. And then these are, what is I think it's for x-axis, and then negative 89 degrees to 89 for y-axis. Oops. Yeah. Constrain to hard limits. To this is where I should. So what you wrote makes sense. I think that what you're saying, I mean, I think that it's I think it's really difficult to learn how to program today because there's so many resources. It's I would really not. I don't have the best advice, and unfortunately, but I would start with something. I don't know. Colt, what did you say you started with? Everyone's programming experience is so different that it's hard to pinpoint like a really good, like a lot of people today learn how to program in JavaScript. And I don't know if that ends up hurting you or it ends up being a really good learning tool. I don't know. I mean, I can say that I learned in Quick Basic, Q Basic, and Visual Basic, and both of those are pretty languages. Bottom of the totem pole, but basic concepts and loops and stuff like that is. I think Java and CSharp are both great starting languages, but CSharp they can both feel pretty overwhelming as well. Oh yeah, that's right. You did. You told me you started with Flash. AS3 is really good starting language because it's somewhere in between CSharp and JavaScript in terms of like syntax and semantics. I mean, I definitely wouldn't say start with C or C++. Like, no way. I like Java, to be honest. I think Java is a great starting language. Ooh. AS2. Yeah, AS2 is basically JavaScript. Pretty much. That was like in what? Like 2007, 2008? Yeah, I'm really sorry that I don't have better advice. I would rather give you good advice than trying to like guess about it because and I've said this a lot on the streams, like programming is something that requires practice, like deliberate practice. No one, no matter what they say, is just good at programming without practicing. It's just technology moves too fast, and I have to relearn things all the time. I'm relearning things all right now. This is all stuff that I've done in my past, but I still can't remember. So yeah, I know, man. It's the language barrier is rough. I wish my Portuguese was worth a shit, but it's not. Bom dia. I took one Portuguese course in college. Miserable. I can't remember. I probably only like really learned formal Portuguese too. You know how I mean Americans, man, we are I have so much respect for anyone who can speak anything other than their native language. I struggle so much with foreign language. Ah, yes. What's up, Demon Rage? All right, so here I'm gonna move forward a little bit. Like, hang out, man. I'm not guaranteed. This is a little bit intermediate stuff. I wouldn't say this is the best learning material. Um, but hang out because I mean we get people participants can show up from any walks of life and they might actually have some really good suggestions for learning and stuff like that. And like who knows? Maybe you pick up some of this terminology stuff and it helps you figure out, hey, I want to go this route or I want to go this route or I'm starting to understand some of this, so I'm going to do this. So just don't hesitate to ask questions, man. I'm telling you, it's the way it's done. The way you're going to learn is questions and practice. And just stick with it, man, because it's overwhelming and there are things that you will see that you'll be like, wow, how do people know how to do that? Well, normally the answer to that is lots of practice. So one of the improvements I was going to make here to this stuff is our rocks main is kind of getting a little bit bloated again. Yeah, man, no problem, dude. Yeah. The thing is you become like Flash has those nice out of box features, right? Like being able to graphically display something in 2 seconds, right? Like when Unity came along, right? Unity has the same sort of qualities as Flash in terms of just a platform. Like you can quickly, create a terrain, throw some trees on it, change the material used, and drop a first person controller on the map and have physics like so fast. You can do all that so quickly. It's great for prototyping things too, quickly. And so like Flash has that. So when you leave that, you struggle with like you kind of struggle with the the boilerplate, the bootstrap stuff. So anyway, I'm gonna why can we make these constants? Is math pi a constant? Yes. I think that's all that means is that const because I don't think I wonder why I did these as static read only because I think const implies static. I think that was one of the problems here is that yeah, it wasn't happy with this because this wasn't const and now that this is we're good. Okay. We don't currently need this one. We'll do a TBD here, and this will be for voxel modification later on. Yeah. And then OpenGL will kind of take you anywhere because of all the bindings, and you can do it in C, C++, any of that stuff. I've been programming with OpenGL since the freaking ancient days, and it is so much different. oh, Colt. So I wasn't gonna mention it right now because I don't want to get too far off topic here, but I added. Okay, so here's what we're looking like currently, by the way. So we have our little debug axes for the X. So the X is the red, blue is Z, and green is Y. I think that's typical axes colors. Anyway, so we've changed it so we have these colors. Our mouse movement, our mouse look around is all happy. All of it's happy and working nicely. So movement's working, forward and backwards working. All of it's good. The one thing I wanted to show you, Colt, is that I added a little string dump for the compute shader maxes. Just to kind of see what my card was capable of, just in terms of like some of the basics. So max invocations, I guess. I'm not really quite sure what X, Y, and Z are, and what the counts versus the sizes are. I guess these are vertex. These are like buffer counts. I don't know. And the sizes is probably just the individual group sizes. And I think this is the maximum number of invocations you can have concurrently, I believe. Oh, neat. Like entire computer building, or like full adder computer building. Yeah, I really liked Minecraft's model. I hope we can do some of that with this engine, or at least try to do something similar to it. I know once we get into like automata and stuff like that, where like for light sources and like propagation of light in a voxel world, how that sort of works, we'll probably get into some of that, update rates and stuff like that. So we'll eventually get there. So anyway, I'm not quite sure what those values means in terms of the work group and the shaders, and are the max work group counts and sizes and stuff. So, but I was glancing at it because I wanted to see if we did decide to do any compute shader stuff with OpenGL, how difficult would it be to like harness the binding library that I'm using now? It looks like that's totally possible. And other than that, I think you just use GL create shader and you pass it GL compute shader, and that's the difference. And by the way, when I was asking about the internals of the stuff, the GPU is absolutely capable of parallel processing, and it's not a it's not a driver level feature. It is actually a GPU level feature. I looked at the parallelism of a lot of these cards, and a lot like OpenCL and NVIDIA, like CUDA. I'm not sure how it's pronounced. Those all use GPU level parallel processing. So one change that I wanted to make to remove some of the bulk here is I wanted to move the vertex shader into another file. And really what I want, to be honest, what I want is I want to get an extension for Visual Studio that will add highlighting and maybe some code completion to my shaders. And so what we're going to have to do here is we shall have to port this, to make sure that we can load these things. We need to actually load these files, pull in the text contents, and upload them. I haven't messed too much with Xamarin, but I've heard great things about it. So I was professional C++ programmer for the last 5 years. I've been out of it for about 6 months. So I'm probably a little bit rusty, but I could probably C++ is a lot bigger of a monster than C, but I could probably help you if you have a pretty specific question. Yeah, the computer I'm on right now is, I hardly ever have new anything, but this thing's about 2 years old. I consider that mostly new. So let me see. I wonder if this shader program accepts a file name. Probably not, actually. New shader program. Yeah. So it does not, but that's fine. We shall add a helper. Public shader. File name. And I think we can just use a binary string, I think. Or string maybe. So using var var shader or file equals new string stream. It might not be a thing. It is in C++. What kind of streams are there? Why don't I know how to read from a file? And I think there's actually probably a static method helper that's like read all text or something. It's just a stream reader, right? Yeah, it's just file read all text. Wow. Okay. I really think this is it. System. All right, string. We'll just do like a. We'll just do a try catch here. Let's do string shader source equals file. Oops. Read all text. I'm not kidding. Like that's legitimately I love helper methods like that. File name. Boom meow.
Come on, kill me.
Hey, thanks for the follow, man. Ooh. Are you bound by callic and realloc, or can you just use malloc? No. So if you callic enough space for 10 ints, if you realloc to 8, ugh. I don't actually know because so what is the reason? So here's the thing. So typically if the size is equal to 0, if the pointer is then the call is equivalent. It doesn't actually say. If the new size is larger than the old size, the added memory will not be initialized. Well, we knew that. If pointer is null, then the call is equivalent to malloc size for all values of size. But it's not null. We're passing in the same pointer. If size is equal to 0 and pointer is not null, then the call is equivalent to free. This doesn't say specifically, but based on this, hold on. Okay. Based on this line right here, that's not exactly what you asked, but I think, and this is a dangerous assumption. I would try to find another reference here because this is sketchy territory. But I think in general, if you look at this optimistically, I think this basically says if you pass an existing pointer and you pass a 0 for the size, then it basically will free the pointer, which says to me that if you pass it a size less than the size of the that you allocated originally, then it will free anything after the realloc size. So I mean I would say I'm probably more confident in what you said originally, in that it will use the same pointer, same address, and it will leave the end two blocks. It will free them. And then when you free the realloc block, it will free everything. Here's the thing, though. This is typically how this sort of goes, because memory management in C is tricky, and it's not always clean, right? When you free something, it doesn't necessarily mean that the memory in the memory that you freed is like cleared. It doesn't do all that. It just registers certain addresses in their length internally, and it doesn't. If you free it, it just says, okay, this memory is now available to be claimed somewhere else. It doesn't actually like delete it. So the chances are that you could still access the last 2 bytes, or the last 64 bytes, 64 bits, 32 bit. Yes, the last 8 bytes. Sorry. It would delete the last 2, or it'd free the last 2. So here, we'll just do a little. So if you, let's just say that each one of these. All right, let me actually open up a piece of Scratch here so that I can do this. I can do this cleanly. So let's just say that let's say that you allocate 7, right? 7 int. So we'll just say this is an int, and then we're gonna do this old fashioned. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So if you have 7 ints, this is calc. What is, I can't remember what calc takes. Calc takes what? A size t. Oh, what does that calc take? So yeah, calc would be what? You do 10, or no, we do 7. That's our size. That's the number of elements, and then like size of int. And this would be like int star int array, right? So I think that if you do this int array, and then what, you pass it the array, the resize, yeah. Let's say if we did 5, like this. I guess you would do int array equals this, I think, right? You probably have to cast it and all that crap too. Then my guess, again, this is a guess, 1, 2, 3, is that it's going to lop these 2 off. Okay. Well, isn't calc this? Isn't that the? I'm just looking at the man page, so I can't remember all this stuff offhand. If that's not it, then sorry, I can't. I just pulled that straight off the man page. I couldn't remember. I've really only ever used malloc for stuff. I try to stay away from any sort of dynamic memory management, but Right. So, I think so. If you, what were you saying? So, if you want to remove the first element, you swap with a. Okay, I see what you mean. So you do like a triple. You just do basically like you swap. Wait, how do you do that? If you're just popping the first element, you want everything to like fall back into place. You just swap everything back to the back or whatever. You just do like a rolling swap sort of thing. I think I know what you mean. Yeah. So I mean, clearly you're gonna want to know. Yeah. Oh, this is what you were talking about. This should be size of. Yeah. Sorry. I totally was confused at what you were saying at first. But yes, you're right. 5 times size of int. Yes. Sorry. I get it now. I was slow. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that I mean that's what I would say. I don't have any sort of written guarantee there. Oh, I see. Okay. So let me just suggest something, because so the way in C++, when you have a vector or you have these data structures that allocate new space when you need it, what I would do is I wouldn't realloc if, like, let's say you have your list or whatever, and you have this int data and like a size t size, right? Or length or whatever. If length is 10 and you pop off that first thing, I would just internally have that set that length to 9 and not worry about reallocating. And the reason why I say that is because reallocating spaces can be expensive. And if you do it every operation, it's I mean, unless you are super tight on memory, with an int array, you're probably not going to be super tight on memory. But I would change what length means, and I would only reallocate is if you add something that moves you beyond this length. So if you add 10 more integers and we get up here and it's like 9, 10, oh God, my length, my basically allocated space is 10, then I would actually double it. I would allocate 20 or reallocate to 20 or reallocate to 30. And then if I remove things, I would change my length. Like, because the length can just be whatever the last element is, whatever the last valid element is. Right? Length can just be your what you consider the last element is at this position, sort of thing. You don't necessarily need to reallocate. And the thing that's nice about this is that when you're done, you just do free data. Like, you're just done. You don't have to worry about any like the amount. I mean, basically this same design you can still use free, right? And it's the same thing. It's gonna free this with the 5 elements and not this. So it's the same sort of thing, but at the end of the day, you don't want to be allocating every time you add or remove something. And I only say that because that's the way the standard the STL containers in C++ work, is they basically only allocate just minimize the amount of times. Like if I were you, I would just say, if you know how many things you want to add up front, allocate that amount of space. And if it grows bigger than that, then you would reallocate. But instead of reallocating just one extra int each time, like come up with some sort of policy. Like if my length is 10 and I add an 11th element, then maybe double your length. Make it 20. Right? But there's a difference here. There's two terms. One is capacity, which is how much memory have I allocated to store these things, and the other is length. And length is just how many things have I added to my container. And length is always less than or equal to capacity. Make sense? I mean, that's just my approach. In my approach that I completely stole from C++ standard libraries. I'm glad that helped, man. To be honest, it's hard answering any sort of C or C++ question in a way that is specific, because it's always so broad. So here we go. Let's try to read this, and from here, let's return a new shader. Ooh. And we'll do shader type. We need to pass shader type. Shader type. Type. New shader. Shader source. Type. And we'll catch here. Exception. And I think we probably just log this and eat it. Eat the error. And we'll do error, our exception, loading shader, and then we'll just pass e dot message, I think. Yeah. And then we'll just return null for that. Cannot. Thank you for that. And then we shall do this. Public shader program. New shader pro. Oh, we'll just do new shader, and instead we'll do shader, and we'll do vert file. Shader file. Our vert shader file. And string frag shader file. And we shall do, we'll do var vert shader. It's new shader. Vert shader file. Oh, and the type. Shader type vert. And var frag shader equals new shader. Do frag shader file. Shader type. Fragment shader. And if null equals vert shader or null equals frag shader, then we will console.write line. Failed to create new shader program, and we shall return null here as well. Otherwise, we want to new shader program. And we're going to pass the vert shader and frag shader. And I think we can just return that. Oh, we can just return the new one. We don't even need a... We can probably add some helpers if we wanted to. Oh, what's up, Bo? How it goes, man. So let's, for our light shader, let's try our little GL helper. And we'll, new shader. And we'll pass in our file names, which are light vert glsl and light frag.glsl. Shader. Of course. Should have known. Should have known it would be broken. Oh yeah, I forgot to check for null here, but I should have checked my console because that would have shown me. Could not find the file bin debug lightvert glsl. Interesting. I thought I said, copy always. So why isn't it copying? Damn it. I think we can just set this to content? I don't know. How do I make it copy? Clearly it's not copying to the output folder. Bin debug. Oop. Wait, what? This always drives me crazy. I'm gonna do none. I'm not gonna copy it using this way because it always sucks. None. And then I'll just do not copy. And then we'll just, what really sucks is I just wanted to, we'll just do this then. Actually, we did this last time. Copy always. Do always copy, and we'll just pass in we'll just pass in resources. Oh, yeah, that should be good. Hooray! Sorry, man. Dude, what happened here? What happened here? No. Okay, so let me see something. So if I create a new shader program, which is right here. Okay. So my GL helper can do this. That's not a problem. Since we are kind of creating it all as one thing, we'll just do this. Dispose children equals true. Done. Huh? Oh. Done. That should prevent the crash. Phew. All right. Very nice. Okay, so now let's move this guy. Let's move this guy. We'll do axis vert GLSL, and we'll make a new item axis frag GLSL. And the vert shader will be this. And the frag shader will be this guy. So I'm moving my shaders to external files. I might be mad about that later. But what I'm hoping is that it will just help clean out some of this gunk. Okay. Okay, good. Still working. So we've kind of successfully cleaned that out here. What I was going to do . Wait, did they raise the cap to 6,000? I didn't even know they raised the cap like that. What does what do? Oh, I don't know. You don't really get that high. But at the end of every season, depending on where you are, you get a certain amount of those competitive points that you can spend on new weapon skins, like gold weapons and stuff like that. Okay, so a couple things that we did. before I bail here. We basically finished what I wanted to do in day 9 or day 10. And here we are, part 2 of day 12. But we're here. We did some other extra cleanup stuff too. So the things we did, we added, we refined the mouse movement function and added some brief comments to kind of explain what we're doing. We added colors for each of the axes, for our debug axes. Our mouse movement is now implemented and working, as well as our WASD movement. Hooray, hooray. We moved all our shaders to separate files just to kind of better organize. Let me see if I can find an extension. I'm going to type this in. GLSL Visual Studio extension. No, that's old. That's VS Code. I don't like these answers. I'm scared of this. Oh, let's shut all this down. Shut this down. Shut down Unity. Oh. Here we go. That's nice when that happens, when it installs cleanly. I know, dude. Oh, well, what's scary is that I hate installing random Visual Studio extensions from GitHub. And are we going to get it? And of course we don't. Okay, hold on. Let me read what it said. Yeah, that doesn't work. It said that it was going to look in, it said that it would look in the, did it not? Well, that's what it said. And last, my love. Look, there it is. It's on. Automatically update this extension. So where is it? That's really annoying. I hate stuff like this. So text editor, file extension. Is InShader listed on here? Yeah, InShader editor. The only other thing I know to do is to add this. It says you can add this and you can do GLSL. Look. It's actually opening it with the right type of editor, but it's not working. It's not using the right syntax. Man, this is exactly why I hate downloading shit like this, because it's so fucking frustrating. Everybody keeps saying it's working, but of course mine isn't. So what does it say to do to change colors? Tools, option, environment. Fonts and colors. Is it InShader? Oh. Scroll down to in. Yeah, I don't see that, but okay, whatever. This is poop. It makes you really sad. Like it knew to open it. You know what? You know what I bet? I wonder if it uses the old. I wonder if I change like the theme. Like it's definitely recognizing that as the thing it should use. I wonder if I could if I change my like theme or whatever to wonder if I can change my theme environment. God, you can change so much. So many options. Oh, here it is. Theme. Light? God, that burns eyeballs, man. That is so bright. And of course, it doesn't change anything. God, this is why I use dark. What about blue, I wonder? Yeah, it doesn't work for any of them. I wonder why not. That's really weird. What up? How's it going? 2017. But based on my reading, wherever I was, look, yeah, 2017. Look, it just added 2017 support. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm community. That's probably what it is. Can you use extensions in Visual Studio 2017? Like I remember the old one. You could use extensions, but you couldn't use plugins. No, where is that? Maybe that's what I should try then. Oh, you mean for my bindings? No, I'm using the OpenGL for Sharp bindings. Yeah, I don't think this is going to show me anything good. I mean, it looks like what I have installed is like the right one, but it's not working. So Look at this. People saying it works. It works fine in Visual Studio 2017 community. Let's look at the issues, I guess. Oh, not working initially. Oh, here we go. This is what I want. This is insane. We need more than just, we need a GLSL, bro. Oh. So it sounds like I should just like restart it like 1,000 times until it works. Oh. You could just like reload it. All right, I'm going to commit this stuff. Changes. I'm going to put day 12 updates, mouse rotation, debug, axis, external shader source, commit all, sync, push. Well, what do you mean trusting you? It still doesn't work, jackass. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it doesn't. Still doesn't work. Maybe I should go to extensions and updates and then disable it, restart, and then re-enable it. Should I do that? I think that's what I'm gonna do. Let's not uninstall. We just want to disable it. Okay, so that's an error down there. It says no available type. Let's enable this. Let's try one more time. It's not going to work. I got this feeling inside my bones. No, it doesn't work. Yeah, whatever. I wonder if could we search for like maybe shader? Let's do online. Do shader. What is, woo, this looks neat. This is what everyone's saying to use. That sounds neat too. Use both those toys. I mean, I knew it wasn't going to work, man. I think that's how it goes. Maybe this will make it work. This is probably going to collide with it somehow and cause an epic meltdown to occur. Come on, Perf Watson. Get off my lawn. Holy sh! Now let's see what this is using, though. Dude, it's using the end shader. You gotta be kidding me. God, that is ugly as sin, though. Can I... Oh, look, and it added all the right stuff. Okay, let me see if I can find... I like this. What is this? Really? It's like the old school color selection. I can't have like a... Ugh. I can't stand this. Why can't I have like a easy delimiter identifier? Look at that. You can't even see that. Wait, what are custom colors? Those down there, I guess. Let me see if I can just find some general... So we'll add that to custom colors. We'll add that. Oh, damn it. Why does it replace the first one? God, man. Sometimes I just wish I could just punch people who do this shit. It's like, dude, just... Gonna use that shit everywhere. All right. Let's see. I probably like these. Okay, so I need this one. Add to custom colors. Okay, and then I'll come back down here. I'll just use the C++ ones because it makes the most sense. God. This is terrible. Keyword. That's probably like a little bit too bright. And we'll use the same one for number. And let's see what else C++ uses. Oh, I like that one. And let me just see if I can remember what this is. 200 all the way. 200 all the way. Where's the InShader go? There. Okay, so like this needs to be like here. I'm going to select this, and then I'm going to do 200, 200, 200, and hopefully add to custom colors. Yes, good. Delimiter. This. I think I want this for custom. This needs to be the light version. So does this. Preprocessor can be this, why not? Special, we'll make the special this as well. Square bracket can be light. String, meh. What is C++ string? We'll get that. Oh, doesn't matter. It's not even on there. That needs to be comments. Oh, there we go. That's what I wanted. 214, 157, 153. 214, 157, 130. No! Wait, was it 133? That's right, right? Why did it remove it? I hate this thing. Why does it use this damn... It literally uses 234. Man, I don't remember that shit. Whatever. I thought it was 214. 214, 157, 153. My brain is fried. 214, 157, 133. Oh, and yeah, this is the last one I want to do. Just got to find a nice green color. This. What is this? We'll just add that to custom colors because I don't need the blue anymore. And we'll need to do comment. I hope this looks good. If this doesn't look good, we're just going to have to deal with it. Okay, this looks way better. I'm not really crazy about the... Wait, why is it green? Damn it. Why is it green? I don't want that to be green. Oh, that's why. I need my types to be this color. Perfect. Cool. This is perfectly fine with me. It just gives some type of... Because I don't think... Yeah. Okay, cool. And it said it gave me context menus for that one. But maybe not. That one thing that I installed said it gave me context menu support for something. But it's okay. All I really cared about was the it's fine. Good. Okay. I'm taking off. I guess the question would be, why not? Why not? Why do it in C++ over C#? One second. All right. I have to bail. No, for what it's worth, I prototyped all of this in C++. I actually, we were looking at it. We were looking at like the little prototype engine I wrote the other day, which is this. No, it's not. It is this. So I wrote the entire thing. I wrote at least the prototype for what we're doing now. I basically wrote as a C++ app, and and a shiesty physics engine. But it's pretty fast. I mean, this is running in debug mode, so this is hopefully what we're going to be doing soon. Like terrain generation and stuff like that. Yeah, I probably will do some killing later. But the thing that I like the most about this little demo is the sky shader. This uses real real atmospheric physics and reflection. Maybe. I mean, check it out, yo. It's like a legit sunset. It's so beautiful. I mean, you can't say that's not amazing. Praise it. Praise the sun. Where's the moon? Where the fuck's the moon? I'm just kidding. I didn't. There's no moon. There is no moon. And if I work really hard, I think that I can probably fall through the world. That's a pretty... God, the fucking mouse sensitivity is insane. But this whole thing is dynamically generated. Oh no, I hit jump. I knew I was going to fall through the world. Anyway. So I mean, like, again, for me, it's like this. This is why I decided to do it in CSharp. Just so you know that my decision making was based around mainly how long it took to iterate on features in C++, just by myself. And thinking about how long it takes to iterate on features and that I would be doing it live, there you go. Bam cakes. Easy. I mean, it's super buggy. It's super buggy. The physics implementation is like super buggy. Mainly because I kind of like hot wired bullet physics to do what I wanted it to do. Anyway, yeah, I mean, we're going to get into this, but like the thing is there's a couple things. C++ is a lot harder to read. And so because this is primarily for sort of education and also because I'm like trying to sharpen up on some C#, since that's what I'm writing code in primarily now at my day job. That's one of the reasons. The other reasons is just to be able to iterate faster on things using managed code. And that's really it. There's really no other reasons other than that. I'm probably going to lose some performance, right? I'm probably going to lose some things, it being managed. But I won't be debugging, I won't be debugging like memory leaks or, mismanagement of memory or worrying about pooling. Am I pooling enough? Am I reusing enough? Am I allocating it correctly? And, all those things that you have to worry about in a C++ app. I'm moving on. So I'm going to leave it at that. I will be back later, probably streaming some Dark Souls. But thanks for tuning in, guys. Tomorrow we're going to make some significant progress, and just stick with me. I know the last couple of sessions have been pretty slow moving, but we're going to be rolling into the voxel and the terrain generation and all that stuff very soon. So let's get into that tomorrow morning, and hopefully I'll see you guys then. And if you care about Dark Souls speedrunning, then tune in later. Talk to you guys soon. Peace.